again.
Is that on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to the Back Row Fantasy Show with your hosts, Jeremy Barker, Aaron Arms, and Chad Niddle.
Hope my mom didn't see me just do that.
I'm waiting on you to put a hot fire rap to that beat.
I could do it.
Okay.
Well, I could do it.
I just want to sing some like Skinner or something.
I haven't told you, but I got notification that the wreck of the Cleveland Browns is finished production.
Oh!
I don't have it yet, but it's a song I wrote that's mostly irrelevant right now, but it's good.
That's kind of exciting.
I'm so frustrated. Like half the stuff I reference in it, I'm like, damn it, he's gone. Yeah, he's gone too. Dang it.
All right.
I hate it when things
we'll
take
remix
6
it.
months.
We'll remix it.
All right.
Let Barker do it.
So what's up? What's this show about?
All right. So this show is going to be.
Well, first off, we're going to talk about the election result. No, we're not. No, we're not.
I don't even know what happened.
No, I don't either. I mean, I voted, but that's none of anyone's business. So
yeah.
Did you guys get the sticker?
The I vote sticker?
Yeah, I never do that. I'm like, no. That's just it's a waste of money. I'm good.
Oh my God, it's in my front pocket. I need to take that out.
Change your pants, Chad. Jiminy.
I know.
Oh, you're wearing sweaty shorts now since you ran here.
That's right.
What are you doing over there?
Are you recording?
I'm doing all kinds of stuff. So listen, here's what we're going to do.
Okay.
We're going to have a Grade the Trade episode. We're also going to be live on the Twitter.
Hey, what's up?
I've also given out the phone number to the studio
Okay.
for folks to call in and ask us to grade the trade. So the phone number should be on the live video. It's 740-395-1323.
740-395.
1323.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
395 Dan Marino, Michael Jordan, as I like to call it. So let's jump right into the Grade the Trade episode. First, we have Stoops, our boy Stoops.
We love you, Stoops.
We do love you, Stoops. Stoops is like literally the first fan of the Back Row Fantasy Show, not named Bark, Arms, or Knit.
Me, yes.
Right. So, don't know who I'm going to
I
keep
would
the
like to
camera
know how
on.
you
Probably
how did
Arms'
you-
beautiful face.
How did you find us, Stoops? That's kind of. I'm curious. It's like we release Stoops sends us a message on Twitter. It's like, oh, thanks, Stoops.
Yeah.
Like, have you been waiting on this? Did you know we were going to do it before we did?
I think he did. I feel like he did.
Stoops might be psychic.
Stoops even asked me to give him the link to the MyBookie, so he could go on and get some MyBookie cash and do some gambling. So
MyBookie cash.
Thought that was really cool. But grade the trade, call in, ask us to grade your trade. Until we get those calls, if we get those calls, we are going to go ahead and
Preloaded.
reel off the preloaded.
Yeah.
The preloaded trade. So Stoops sent in, and again, for people that just joined, 740-395-1323. Call in, ask us to grade your trade. You'll be on the show. It'll be glorious.
I had no idea he was doing this live thing. Did you?
No.
I didn't tell nobody.
Complete surprise.
So anyways, first off, we've got Chris Stoops says he traded A.J. Green.
All right.
This trade happened. We're going to grade it one side or the other. A.J. Green, Austin Ekeler, and a second for Tyreek Hill. Yeah, just that. A.J. Ekeler and a second for Tyreek.
You know what? I'm going to jump right in the water right here. Give me Tyreek, man. Dude's been electric. I expect him to be even just better and better and better. A.J. Green is kind of plateaued. I thought still an elite wide receiver. Eckler don't have a whole lot of faith in long term. And a second round's kind of a flyer anyway. Dude, I love Tyreek Hill. I took him over Keenan Allen in startup drafts this year. I've just been a believer before Pat Mahomes exploded. Even bigger Tyreek fan now that Patrick Mahomes has just done what he's done all year, been the best fantasy quarterback in the game. Give me Tyreek Hill.
I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill as well here. My biggest thing about Tyreek, I mean, he's the number 4 overall fantasy receiver. Green's 13, and you're dealing with a backup running back who's his
Matchup dependent.
His volume's dependent upon game flow and how well they're doing. And then, of course, as you said, a second's a flyer. What are you spending a second on? In IDP leagues, you're spending on defensive players. I mean, maybe a flyer wide receiver. Maybe you're going to get lucky, but what are the odds you're getting lucky on that second rounder? You know you've got a young Tyreek Hill versus that aging A.J. Green. Give me Tyreek all day.
Okay, so what do you grade this trade, giving that up for Tyreek? Give us a grade.
I'm going to give it a B. I don't think this is that bad of a trade on either side. I think it's it's a fair trade. If you're if you gave away Tyreek Hill and got AJ in return, maybe you paired Austin Eckler with Melvin Gordon, and you get the second. I mean, I don't think you lost that trade. I'm going to give it overall. It's not like either team stole anyone or anything like that. It's a B for me. I mean, it's just a good, solid trade.
I'm going with a B+ on this because same thing. You get the volume. Odds are the guy who had Tyreek just needed something to start some sort of a rebuild.
Just a boost.
He needed that next year boost, and he's got that next year boost. AJ Green's not retiring.
No.
He's got a few years left in the tank.
He's got 3 or 4.
Eckler, if you hang on to him, as you said, if you paired him with Melvin Gordon, huge for you.
Yeah.
That is great for you. If you just added him as, a flex type option or that bye week running back, more power to you, man. Eckler, whenever he's getting the volume,
into it,
he's solid. So absolutely. And then of course, that second, you could hit. But what are you giving up if you don't?
Even AJ Green and Austin Eckler for Tyreek Hill isn't a bad trade. You're getting the bonus second there. It's a free second round pick.
It's a fairly even trade.
I like the trade.
I give it a B as well. I think with AJ Green starting to age out just a tad, he's still great, but Tyreek Hill is a beast. So AJ Green and Eckler and a second for Tyreek. I like that trade to acquire Tyreek, so it's a B for me as well. Stoops also wanted us to ask Yeldon and a first for David Johnson. Which side do you want, and what do you give the trade?
That really depends on how bad that team that has that first is.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a huge believer in David Johnson right now. If it looks like it's going to be a very high pick, hey, Yeldon in the first, Yeldon's established himself as the third down back, even with Fournette back. So that's not awful, but I want the David Johnson side right now, especially if it's not a premium pick in the first round. I'll take the Johnson side, but it's pretty even. I'm going to go with, I'm going to say a B-.
All right. To me, it depends on where you are on both sides of this. If you're acquiring David Johnson for a stretch run and you give up a first in TJ Yeldon, really you're just giving up a first. I'm not as big of a TJ Yeldon fan. I think he's very expendable in the offseason or trade bait.
Jean-Claude Van Damme expendable?
Yeah, I'm not a very big TJ Yeldon fan. He's just he's taking advantage of the opportunities he's been given, but then again, he doesn't bring the electricity and that dynamic running back that I want. That I want at a running back position, both in the NFL and on my fantasy team. So if I needed a running back, I'm happy getting David Johnson for a first and TJ Yeldon. I'll give both sides a win here. If you gave up David Johnson, you're getting a first. More power to you in a rebuild scenario there. So I'm gonna stay right in there. This is not just blown away on either side. Just a B.
You're getting the 10th overall running back and a first for David Johnson, who's the 13th overall running back right now. Now, with that being said, we assume TJ Yeldon's volume is going to go down.
We know it's. It's going to be.
Yeah. I don't disagree, but Johnson long term looks like a better option. But Yeldon's performed well this year, but a lot of it has to do with the health of Fournette.
I agree. There's a reason they drafted Fournette, and that reason is that Yeldon is not the future or part of their long term plans, and it is a crowded backfield. I like this side for the team acquiring David Johnson. You know how I am with picks. Not a big fan of picks. I give picks away like candy. So if I have Yeldon in the first, I'm giving it for DJ all day long. DJ's still young. Yes, this may be a lost season, but once that team figures it out, David Johnson's going to come right back into relevance as a top 5 guy, in my opinion. So Yeldon in the first for DJ. Give me DJ all day long, and I'm going to give it an A if you acquire David Johnson for Yeldon in the first.
All right. One more thing on David Johnson. I mean, he's proven this year on a horrendous team that he can still be mildly productive, unlike, Shady McCoy in Buffalo, who just cannot get it going. Absolutely cannot get it going with no passing game around him. David Johnson's still been fairly relevant. He hasn't been a threat for 100 yards, hasn't even come close to 100 yards on the ground, but he still catches the ball. When Arizona scores, usually on the back of David Johnson. So, yeah, I can bump it up to a B+ or so if you're acquiring David Johnson there.
Okay, last one for Stoops, last grade the trade question from him. 3 firsts and Phillip Lindsay.
Woo!
Or Kareem Hunt.
Wow.
And I'm going to start this one off. Give me Kareem Hunt.
Wow.
Because Kareem Hunt is one of the elite backs right now in the league. Phillip Lindsay looks good. He don't look elite yet.
I don't know if he's ever going to in that backfield.
I don't either. And to me, if you can acquire a top running back for just picks and a mid-tier running back, you do it. I don't even care what the amount of picks are. Like, how many can you possibly have? If you can get Kareem Hunt for 3 firsts and Phillip Lindsay, give me Kareem Hunt. I want to win now.
Here's the weird thing for me. I'm trying to analyze this trade to figure out what exactly happened between the owners here. For one, if you're giving up 3 picks, 3 first and Phillip Lindsay for Kareem Hunt,
what did you do to get 3 first-rounders? Like, you had to have given him a premium player in the preseason.
Right, but on the same note, if you're giving that up to acquire him, you got to be in a decent situation to be able to make it a run here. So it sounds like the side giving up the 3 picks in Phillip Lindsay and the side that's acquiring Kareem Hunt is in the playoff push right now. So, hey, I'll second that. I hate giving up 3 first in any trade, but we're talking about Kareem Hunt, a premier back on a premier offense. If you're in that stretch run, trying to make a playoff push, give me that. So give me Kareem Hunt side of this all day long.
See, I'm going to go the other way, man. 3 first-rounders for any running back, and then you're adding in a solid back like Phillip Lindsay. Once again, I don't know if he's ever going to own the backfield entirely.
Agree.
And next year, Royce Freeman could just take off and start walk away with the job. We don't know that.
And there's no threat to Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, there is no threat to Kareem Hunt.
Won't be for 4 or 5 years.
Kareem Hunt is in a very good, efficient offense with a solid quarterback, solid receivers, a great tight end. Like, I appreciate everything Kareem Hunt's going to do, but I just feel like the guy giving up the 3 first is
maybe stretching.
You're giving up too much, in my opinion, unless that is the only piece you need to bring home the championship. If you're sitting there looking at, you have Adam Thielen and Mike Thomas and, a very solid, maybe an Alshon Jeffrey as your number 3, and you've got, I can't even imagine what your running backs look like if you're willing to give up Phillip Lindsay and those 3 first to get Kareem Hunt.
But again, you're in a good situation.
Lindsay would have to be your best running back if you're willing to give that up.
That's my thing. If Lindsay's your best running back, okay, yeah, I get that at that point, but man, like, you're giving up a lot of pieces to a rebuild to where in the offseason, you could, if you're a decent team in the offseason, you could unload those 3 picks to somebody that dead-ass last team that needs those picks, get a couple of premier players for those 3 first.
It kind of sounds like the owner giving up 3 picks might be his last year in the league.
might be.
He's selling out the win and he's retiring.
He probably traded away his whole draft class and either has to pay the league fee now or he's got to deal with the commissioner that states, hey, if I get 3 firsts back where I traded away every pick, if I get those 3 firsts back, can I not pay the league fee next year and bail? Because I'm in that situation in one league now. I owe for next year because I traded my whole draft class of 2019 away. So I'm about to make that same deal. Like, hey, commish, if I get a couple firsts back, can you let me out of my obligation to the league and move on? We got
real quick. I mean, to hammer it home on the Phillip Lindsay, just looking at the Phillip Lindsay to Kareem Hunt side of this. I mean, Phillip Lindsay's been solid, even with or without Royce Freeman. He's putting up double-digit fantasy points a week, but you're basically doubling them with the possibility of tripling that output when you go to a Kareem Hunt. His high weeks are 35 points.
Yeah.
His medium weeks are still better, well better than Phillip Lindsay. So, man, I do like getting Kareem Hunt, but that is a stretch, a little bit of a stretch. Grading it out, this is kind of a C. I don't.
For both sides? Are you saying a C for both sides?
Kareem Hunt, it's a B. You got Kareem Hunt, you got it a B. If you're acquiring the first, it's a B. But overall, the trade's just kind of.
If I've got Kareem Hunt and
I don't think it's
I'm
an
in a
equal
full
trade.
rebuild, like that's a good trade. If I'm in full rebuild and I'm getting Phillip Lindsay and those first, you've got a running back you can use, and then hopefully you hit on your draft picks, and you're a lot more likely to hit in the first round than the second or third. Okay. I mean that's a rebuild trade to me.
The one other thing I'll kick in is this draft class ain't looking good.
It doesn't look like
quarterbacks,
last year's
running backs. No, so maybe giving up those thirds or those three first, it could pan out perfect because there's just not going to be a lot of superstars within this draft class upcoming.
I agree. This draft class, that's, again, another reason I'm comfortable trading away my picks, is this draft class doesn't look elite, and Kareem Hunt is. So
no Saquon.
I grade the deal if you acquired Kareem Hunt as a B. If you acquired Lindsay in the 3 first, I'm giving you a C. It's desirable depending on your team. If you're a rebuild, if you're a contender, this deal makes sense for two different types of teams. So it's a B for Hunt, a C for Lindsay.
If it's 2 playoff teams, the guy who has who acquired Kareem Hunt won.
Yeah.
If it's 2 playoff teams,
hands down, you went plus 10 points at a minimum at that running back position. So
we have Jay at Bruno MLB. He says at work can't call, but would you give Lindsay for Fournette or Lindsay for Lamar Miller?
Ooh,
I don't think I'd give Lindsay up for either one of them.
Man, say it one more time.
Lindsay for Fournette or Lindsay for Lamar Miller?
I'd roll with Phillip Lindsay for the rest of the year. I don't believe in Leonard Fournette. I mean, as soon as something tweaks in that hamstring, he's going back, possibly on the IR. I mean, he's already proven that he's not a workhorse type back. He's a workhorse when he's healthy, but he's not a competitor to me, man. He isn't going to stay in the game. Just not going to stay in the game and work through a nagging injury. Phillip Lindsay is. He's in there to prove his worth with this opportunity of Royce Freeman being shelved for a little bit. And who was the other one?
Lamar Miller.
No,
not even close.
I do not pass on Lamar Miller all day long. I love Phillip Lindsay compared to Lamar Miller. The Leonard Fournette's interesting, but scary.
We got you in a second, Bob.
The one thing about Fournette is you are dangerously close to this being a lost season for the Jaguars.
Yes.
Dangerously close. They're a loss away from
mailing it in,
and Fournette saying, you know what? No, I'm just getting healthy this offseason. Like he's just not.
He's selfish. That's the word I was. That's the word I was searching for. Leonard Fournette is very, very selfish football player, and that's scary from a fantasy standpoint because my hamstring hurts. I'm going to go to the bench.
Ouch, my hammy.
I pulled a hammy.
All right, so our boy Bob Miller asks Mike Evans and what's Herndon? Gosh,
Chris Herndon.
Chris Herndon. I thought it was Chris, but you got Mike Evans, Chris Herndon for Zach Ertz. Thoughts on that one?
Woo!
I mean, you must really need a tight end because Evans has looked good several times this year, and it doesn't matter who's throwing him the ball. Evans is, a premier receiver. I'm going to keep my premier receiver with Herndon chipping in a little bit here and there. Now, if the drop-off is, let's say Mike Evans is your number 1 and your number 4, you're dropping to, say, a Golden Tate, someone like that, okay. I get that trade.
And you have nobody. You have Chris Herndon at tight end.
Yeah, and your tight end just is god awful. The difference between Herndon and Ertz is a chasm. It's huge. But the difference between Mike Evans and your number 3 or your number 4, it's not nearly as big. So, I mean, I'm going to try to keep a hold of Evans. Unless I have solid wide receivers the rest of the way around.
So listen, real quick. If you are watching on Twitter, we are recording. It is video on YouTube. It is audio for the podcast. You can call in 740-395-1323 as linked in the description if you would like to get your trade graded by the fantasy teachers. Bring out the paddle, Nick. Bring out the paddle. He's been a bad trader.
I would spank you.
What was that again?
No, I'm not saying that like
Okay.
that again.
So anyways, yes, call in. It will be live on the show. It will be recorded for the show.
Do I not get any input on this?
Go ahead. I was just letting them know.
Nah.
Anybody who's joined in, you go ahead with your Herndon and Mike Evans for Zach Ertz.
I'm kidding. I was just going to echo what he had said. The only way this trade works for the guy getting Ertz, the only way it works for Ertz is if you just have an absolutely star-studded, star-crowded wide receiving core. I'm not giving up Mike Evans for Zach Ertz.
I mean, they put up very similar production.
And I get it. You're going from Herndon to Ertz. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That is great. My advice here, my biggest advice here is keep Mike Evans. Go play games with Herndon and something else for a little less of an upgrade. You don't have to go to Ertz if you have a star-studded wide receiving core.
Try to acquire Trey Burton, Ricky Seals-Jones, someone like that.
Bob did want us to know that it is PPR that he's asking about for this trade. I keep Mike Evans.
Go get an Austin Hooper. I mean, there's a lot of tight end. Again, that tight end landscape is void outside of Ertz, Kittle, etc. You know, Kelsey, Gronk. We can't even go Gronk in there anymore. But my advice would be keep Mike Evans, work your trade wire, work your trade bait with Herndon and something else to acquire a mid-level tight end. Improve a little bit that way.
I've got to add that Herndon, the past handful of games, is putting up double digits. He's emerging.
But one catch 2 weeks ago with the touchdown. One catch with touchdown. His high is 62 yards and no touchdown. So I am scared of Herndon. I understand the worry there of starting him week in, week out if you're trying to make a playoff push or especially a championship push. But I just think you can do better than giving up Mike Evans, man. He's just a stud.
We had
He's
a
number
trade.
5. He's number 5 in PPR right now.
Can't do it.
We had a trade question. They sent it on the live feed. It disappears almost quicker than you can read it, unfortunately.
Bang, bang.
If you can call, the number is posted on Twitter. It is posted on the live video. Definitely call in. We'd love to talk to you and hear about your trade voice to voice. But if you want to send that trade back through the live thing, we'll try to read it before it disappears. The next one, we've got our fill-in, Jeremy Lambert, that's filled in on the show a few times. He asks, Aaron Jones and Keenan Allen, which were his, did he make the right trade in dealing Aaron Jones and Keenan Allen for Tyreek Hill and Jesse James, the outlaw?
I'll start it off. Yeah. I love Tyreek Hill, man. I told you, I think I said, was it this show or the last one that I said I took Tyreek Hill over Keenan Allen before this season started based on the talent level of the two. I like Tyreek Hill's talent more than Keenan Allen. And then you add in Patrick Mahomes and what he's done. Tyreek Hill's a win all day long. What's he, number 3 overall? Number 4 overall in PPR? So I mean, he's top 5.
7, I think.
All right, he's a top 10 guy all day long. Keenan Allen's fluctuated on game, off game.
Tyreek Hill's a
He's
game
4, he's
winner
4.
for you.
Yeah,
Tyreek's
Hill.
4?
Tyreek's 4. Tyreek Hill's a top 5 guy, and
Keenan
he's
Allen's
a game winner.
21.
Yeah.
60-point gap.
Now we're talking about the tight end portion of that.
Yeah, Jesse James. I mean, that's kind of a toss-in. It's basically Aaron Jones and Keenan Allen for Tyreek.
Yeah.
And Aaron Jones is, he's got potential, but he's
fumbling issues.
If I'm giving Aaron Jones with Keenan Allen to get Tyreek Hill, I'm not that worried about losing Aaron Jones. I like his potential, but, when's the last time?
I mean, they give Jamal Williams the ball at the goal line every now and again, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If it was just Aaron Jones' backfield, I would probably lean towards Allen and Jones, but no, Lambert, you made the right decision. Tyreek Hill he's a baller, and he's going to be a baller for the next 5 years. Keenan Allen might have a freaking spleen rupture next year.
Yeah,
he gets some freakish injuries.
Yeah, the other thing I know about this trade is the makeup of Lambert's team. What he gave away, the Aaron Jones and Keenan Allen to get just basically Tyreek Hill.
He still has
the
Chubb.
makeup of his team is Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb. Who else he got? He's got tons of
Royce Freeman. He's got someone else too.
Yeah, tons of young running backs all day.
Lambert just tried to call in, actually.
Yeah, but knowing the makeup of his team makes it makes more sense for him to get rid of Keenan and give up. Maybe you give up a little too much and Aaron Jones into it. But Tyreek Hill's just like you said, a weak winner.
Yeah,
he's a stud, man. Props to Lambert.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get him on there real quick because he did try to call in.
That is so loud.
It really is
super loud.
I can fix that.
You're ringing my eardrums, literally and figuratively.
What's up, Lambert?
What's happening?
Oh, nothing. We're talking trades. Do you have one you want to get graded live on the air?
No, I just heard you guys talking smack about my trade. Figured I'd call in.
It was a good trade. We're saying you won.
I know that. This is the only kind of trades I make, Arms.
We know that. We know you're only going to win.
The only trades you make are the ones to where you definitely have the advantage. I got that.
Yeah, and I am sorry, like Twitter, the live watchers, you can't hear the incoming call because it's going straight to the video and audio feed.
But Lambert's talking. He thinks we're talking smack about him, but we're trying to give him
I'm
props.
just giving you guys a hard time.
Oh, thanks.
Well, we appreciate a hard time.
I appreciate the kind words about my trade.
Yeah, you won that one. Undoubtedly won that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely take Tyreek Hill for Aaron Jones and Keenan Allen all day long. We'll go with
But
Lambert's.
the Jesse James was just a toss in. I needed a bye week fill in from a tight end.
Yeah.
That's all that was.
Who's your running backs again? Saquon, Nick Chubb.
Saquon, Nick Chubb, Duke Johnson.
Saquon, Nick Chubb.
Elijah McGuire. I got Ronald Jones, Royce Freeman.
So you got Ronald Jones, Royce. I mean, this is a 16-team league, and you got potentially 4 or 5 starters, or at least starting caliber running backs next year. You can get Aaron Jones is completely expendable for you.
He's expendable for an upgrade.
Yeah,
definitely.
Agreed.
Yeah.
He's the perfect piece to use for an upgrade.
Absolutely.
Boom.
So we'll get to Lambert's second trade here. Last on his list, Allen Robinson in a first is what he gave for Brandon Cooks in a third. Give me Cooks in a third all day long and graded a B, in my opinion. Allen Robinson, I didn't like going into the season. I still don't like Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson done nothing.
Anthony Miller is the best wide receiver on that team. I'm going to say it right now.
He'll prove it next year.
He'll prove it next year. But Allen Robinson is basically a mirage, and I kind of saw that coming into the season. If you could trade Allen Robinson and that pick for Brandon Cooks and move back a couple rounds, I think you just won that trade easily.
Absolutely.
B plus, actually, for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go and it's an A because the other guy apparently believes in Allen Robinson a little bit. You gave him the first. I mean, you couldn't have traded either one of those players. You couldn't trade a first and a second for Brandon Cooks. There's just no way. And you couldn't have traded just Allen Robinson in a second for Cooks. I think Cooks definitely the premier player in the deal. You won.
I've noticed when I switch the camera to just arms, we drop 5 viewers instantly. And then when I go in a different direction, like watch, we've got 1 viewer right now. It went down from like 7. I'm gonna turn it to knit.
Hey,
and
come on back,
hey,
baby, come back.
Now here in just a few
Probably
minutes,
the females.
It'll jump up to like 4 or 5. But but yeah, Lambert, thanks for calling in. We're gonna clear the line in case someone else wants to call in, which at this point is seeming
you're good.
Unlikely because everyone's at work. Who's working these evenings, man? Like get you a job in
fantasy footballers.
Yeah, 9 to 5. Get you a 9 to 5.
No doubt. No doubt.
Not a 5 to 2 in the morning. Lambert, thanks.
All right. Well, hey, appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Peace.
No, Lambert.
See ya.
All right. So the next trade, not Lambert's, but our good buddy Chris Williard, who also does a little work for Sleeper Wire. This was a very interesting trade to me. He says Case Keenum, or Marcus Mariota.
You know what? I kind of like what Marcus Mariota did this past week against a Dallas defense that was flying around the field. Showed some poise in the pocket. Showed some poise getting out of the pocket. Made some plays in the passing game. To me, you can there's a lot of upgrades to Case Keenum, and sadly, as much as a Mariota against Mariota was to start the season through most of the season, Mariota's an upgrade. He gives you the possibility of scoring a rushing touchdown, not like a Cam Newton or anything like that, but he does give you the possibility of getting 25 to 60 rushing yards and possibly a touchdown each week. So give me that possibility. They're equal in the passing game. But just give me a little bit of Mariota's legs to put that over the top for me.
Before I pass it on to Arms for his take, here's my take on Case Keenum or Mariota. Who do you trade one for the other? And there's only one answer for me. You trade Case Keenum for Mariota in a heartbeat. And I am the epitome of a Mariota hater. I do not like Marcus Mariota. I probably never will. But Case Keenum is not good. It is proven. It's a fact. Mariota is injury prone and on a terrible offense. If Tennessee moves on from Mariota, you could possibly have an asset depending on where he goes. Case Keenum, not an asset no matter what. So trade your non-asset for a possible asset. It's a no-brainer to me, and it's a B. I graded a B because Case Keenum is a throwaway. He's on waivers in some leagues. Mariota's not because he's young and there is potential for him to move on to a different team and possibly revive his career. Keenum, no possibility for that. Arms, what do you think? Keenum, Mariota?
I mean, I think they're both hot garbage, to be honest with you. But if you are in trying to make the playoff push right now, let's say you're stacked the rest of the way around, I want Case Keenum in this trade. I don't think
what?
Yeah, Mariota. First off, neither one of them are guaranteed their job next year. Neither one of them.
But if one of them goes elsewhere,
there's a 70-point gap in their scoring. It's 5 points a game. So even if you count out the difference in when
and their per game average,
their per game average is 23 versus I think 18. Keenum's the better quarterback out of the two. He didn't really lose as much as one would think when he lost to Demaryius Thomas because Cortland Sutton's there. He's got running backs who can actually get it freaking done out of the backfield. Having Phillip Lindsay and having Royce Freeman out there, just throwing those short passes can turn into a 60-yard touchdown.
We are talking dynasty and long-term, though. And Keenum is way closer to being benched than Mariota.
Both of them need replaced. Like, neither one of them are that good. I can't imagine whoever's making this trade with one of them as their starting quarterback has a great team unless they're stacked the rest of the way around. But right now, I want Case Keenum. I have no faith in Marcus Mariota turning around his career.
Nit has a trade he wants graded.
I do. It's one I made earlier this year. Me being in the midst of a very lucky sitting at 500.
Are you going to grade your own?
Yeah, I want you guys' analysis of this trade I made because I'll give you the full background of it, man. I was sitting with Dak Prescott as my quarterback with a 500 team, but somehow in the lead for the wild card. I had to make a move. I also had Jimmy G, who I was relying on as my number one, obviously on IR. So I traded Jimmy G and a first, a mid-round first at worst, Jimmy G and a first for Tom Brady in a dynasty league, short term. Puts me major upgrade over Dak Prescott, doubling points per game, probably a 15-point swing there, maybe better on a high week. Who won that trade?
I believe you did because Nick Mullins is the future. Just kidding. Nick Mullins isn't the future in San Francisco more than likely, but you're in a win now situation. So to me, that's a clear A. You're not going to get anywhere with Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm going to start
not going to get anywhere
Garoppolo.
Not getting anywhere with Dak Prescott as my starting quarterback.
Correct. Definitely not getting anywhere with Dak Prescott. So I like the deal. And it paid off because you already are +1 in the win column since the deal.
Yeah. Add-on that I got with Sean McCoy as a depth running back and kicked over a third, too. So I felt very comfortable. I was ravaging a team that was trying to rebuild. I ravaged him for TB12. And I feel good. I feel very good about that.
It feels good.
You should feel good about it. If you're trying to win now, you're not going to do it with Dak Prescott. I'm in a very similar situation. I believe the same league with Derek Carr. You know, I never went out and got that second quarterback because I'm like, you know what, Carr, it was after the season, he looked really good, was an MVP candidate, and he's pretty much been down since then. I wish I could trade for Tom Brady right now. I mean, regardless of what else I had to toss in with it. But you know what? I think you did well by, getting yourself in a win-now situation.
Man, I saw that come through on the live Twitter. If you can, real quick, send it again. I'm going to write it down as fast as I can. Pretty sure it's the same guy that sent the first one.
God.
Man, it's hard. It
so
disappears so fast.
How did I try to do that?
Please call us 740.
He's like, what he actually sent was, get that fat bald dude off of it.
Oh, done. Oh, wait. I'm not bald, but I am a little fluffy. Okay, so until he sends that trade right back through for us to grade, we're going to move on to the next one. Our boy Matthew Bruning. You can find him on the Twitter. He also does a podcast. He does a great job at it. But Bruning asks Tyreek for Kittle and a 2020 first.
Ooh, that's so far off,
It
man.
really is.
You're committed there. I love Kittle, man. I do. If this was Kittle in a first next year, and again, I don't know the roster makeup or anything like that. Maybe I can side with Kittle in a first. But man, we've already talked about Tyreek and how I feel about him. Number 4 right now, and I think he's getting better somehow, some way. They're going to design more ways to get him the ball over a Sammy Watkins or who else is there? DeAnthony Thomas. I mean, they're going to figure out ways to get Tyreek Hill.
They got Chris Conley, Demarcus Robinson.
Travis Kelce,
basically
obviously.
got 3 people in addition to the running back. I mean, I love Kittle. You guys know how much I love Kittle.
I do. We do.
It's all Kittle down the middle for me. I think he's great, but
There goes our listeners.
But you've got Tyreek Hill. There's like a 40, 50-point gap in their production. Unless you are just stacked at wide receiver and you have no tight end production, you've got to take Tyreek Hill in this deal.
I agree.
And if, to me, a 2020 first is just too far away.
It is. It's too far off.
I mean, some leagues fold before then.
True. Okay, Bruning had another one. Jordan Howard in a first or Nick Chubb?
Nick Chubb, man.
Nick Chubb.
If you have Nick
Quick
Chubb,
answer.
if you have Nick Chubb, you've already hit on the first. So why get rid of him for a first? And I don't believe in Jordan Howard. Again, Tyreek Cohen's a legitimate threat. That offense is getting more and more balanced. Sadly, like it's getting more balanced, and it's going away from Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard's game flow is when they're up big, and frankly, the Bears can be up big against bad offenses because that defense is shut down. But give me Chubb, man. He's the future of Cleveland. He's going to remain the future of Cleveland for a long time. You already hit on him. Keep him. Do not get rid of Nick Chubb for a first and a running back that's deteriorating, production going down, volume going down, getting lost in that offense.
All right. Arms, what do you got?
Man, I mean,
Howard in a first or Chubb?
if it was a different draft class, this just doesn't appear to be that great of a draft class is my biggest issue. I'm going to go with Chubb. I think Chubb for the rest of the year is a better running back. I think next year there's no question that he's the number one, hands down. He can play both phases of the game. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can definitely run it. And he's explosive. He's far more explosive than Jordan Howard ever thought of being. I mean, give me Nick Chubb in this. And I mean, I love first-round draft picks, but unless I'm like in some sort of a rebuild mode, like I'm going to go with Chubb. And at that, I mean, even if I'm in rebuild mode, man, you got to hit on that first. You still got to hit. And what's Jordan Howard going to do for you?
Someone say something about Duke Johnson in this, though.
Duke.
So where are you at on it?
I'm all about Chubb, and the only reason being is, again, I take picks and I wipe my rear end with them and I throw them away. Jordan Howard, to me, has been outperformed by Tyreek Cohen. Give me Chubb. Give me that unknown. Give me that possibility that he turns into an elite back. I'm not saying he will, but give me that possibility. Jordan Howard, it's just hit and miss, and it's too inconsistent. I'm going to gamble and take the risk and give that pick in Howard for Chubb all day long, and I grade that trade a B.
In PPR, there's a 16-point production difference. Nick Chubb didn't start for the first 3 or 4 games, maybe 5. 16 points. I mean, what's Jordan Howard doing for you? Here in the last few weeks, he's looked all right, but do you expect Jordan Howard to get in the end zone every week? Because if he doesn't, he pretty much doesn't get you double digits. Nick Chubb looks like he's going to do that going forward.
You got another one up for us?
We got at Gotham City DG23 on Twitter. This is a lengthy one, so anybody wants to call in and interrupt this one, 740-395-1323.
By the way, if you're putting it through the live tweet, try to DM us if we're not getting it quick enough.
Yeah, because it just fades away after that. But Gotham City DG23 says Christian McCaffrey. This is one I've been waiting to talk about.
I'm going to need to write this down.
That's what I'm doing.
Christian McCaffrey, Jimmy Graham, and Chris Godwin.
Hold up. Jimmy Graham.
CMC.
Jimmy G, the other one. Jimmy Graham.
Yep.
And Chris Godwin, is had a surprisingly good year.
Solid season. Looks like a long-term player. Now, I hate to throw these in there, but he threw them in there. A round 15 2020 keeper pick and a round 13 keeper pick. The 13's in 2020. The 15 is this coming season. Okay. But basically, CMC, Jimmy Graham, Chris Godwin for Kamara, Tyreek, and Burton. Now he knows what our grade is. This is not the point of this one is not a grade, even though we're all going to give it an A, I assume, because give me Kamara, Tyreek, and Burton all day long over CMC, Jimmy Graham, and Chris Godwin,
or Kamara
all day long,
or Tyreek. I mean, either one of them, and add in Burton, I'll take that. Just either one of them. But heck,
I wouldn't do it for just Tyreek, but Kamara, Tyreek, and Burton for those guys, CMC, Jimmy Graham, Chris Godwin, all day. But
what were the keepers? What were the keeper rounds?
Round 15 in this coming season. Not sure what his league format is.
I was going to say, what is your number of keepers? I mean, if that's first rounder, but still, most of the talent's off the board at that point.
Didn't get that info, unfortunately, but give me Kamara and Tyreek all day. And the question with this, not necessarily grade it, because it's an A. If you got Kamara and Tyreek and Trey Burton for those guys.
It's an F the other way, though.
You slayed it.
Oh, yeah, it's an F the other way. Should the league be upset?
Should the league be upset? Yeah, absolutely.
Members of the league were saying that it messes with the integrity of the league. Do we agree with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is a voidable or revocable trade right here. I mean, Kamara is more than slightly better than Christian McCaffrey, and he's really good. Burton and Jimmy Graham's just kind of a wash, and then Tyreek.
I'd rather have Burton though, long term.
Yeah, I'd rather have Burton over Jimmy G long term, but I don't see Burton as a keeper, an off-season keeper.
But if you're keeping 12 players, you probably will keep him.
Maybe, but and then Tyreek is just head and shoulders better than Chris Godwin, even though Chris Godwin's been solid. I mean, it's win-win-win on one side. Yeah, you're giving away a couple picks.
So at Lamont 87, while I'm pointing at it, said, "Is that Peyton Manning?"
Yes. Yeah. We got Peyton on the show. I'm just voicing over.
Look at that long neck.
My forehead's not even exposed. But this definitely there's some integrity issues with this trade. This is voidable, revocable, hands down, man. I don't understand it. I don't understand giving up those two players, Kamara and Tyreek. That's just get the commish on the line.
Lamont, you should call into the show. That's just too good.
Roast me.
740-395-1323. It's posted on the Twitter. It's our newest post as well.
I'm a Tennessee fan, so that's a compliment to me.
This is Peyton Manning right here. Peyton is on the show. Peyton, how are you doing today?
Oh, well, I'm doing fine down here in Rocket Top.
Slinging
not
some
too far from
pizzas
your actual voice. Oh man! And then what's that Redskins play? Trent Murphy is also here.
Oh god!
We also have defensive lineman Trent Murphy,
outside linebacker now. Thank you.
Whatever the hell he is,
dude. He's humongous, man. I'm 5'10". He's like 6'6".
We have a DM of a trade that it's from BR Moore.
And I will agree that is a revocable trade at that point. You got to revoke that. I mean, Kamara and Tyreek is just way too much to give up for them, and to add Burton into that, man. Burton's a young, solid tight
That's
end.
ridiculous.
What was
All
that, Peyton?
It's ridiculous. It was bad.
That's
Go ahead, get it off.
That's ridiculous.
Now that he's Peyton, you don't want to be on the camera. Okay, so anyways, Brendan Armour. I hope I'm saying your name right, dude. Can't call right now. Sorry. It's all good, brother. It's all good. Okay, here we go. He has a playoff team, Brandon does, with one startable quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. Congratulations on that, Brandon.
Yeah.
And got Rivers and Julio for Jimmy G, AJ Green, Deshaun Hamilton, I assume, and a 2020 first. He got Rivers and
You just
Julio
won. You won.
for Jimmy G, AJ Green, Hamilton, and a 2020 first. Yeah, you won. You won.
I mean, that's
Hey, I think we just got an Instagram question.
might be a bad trade there. I mean, that's pretty lopsided to me. I mean, to get Rivers and Julio, that's a huge boom for your team.
Peyton, what's your thoughts on this?
No,
Well, my brother Eli.
I'm assuming one is starting one quarterback, starting two quarterbacks. I mean,
It looks-
Yeah, but
yeah.
to have the depth of the playoff run's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Either way.
losing Jimmy G's no big deal. Losing Deshaun Hamilton's no big deal. A 2020 first, that's far away. So it's basically AJ Green for Julio and Rivers, in my opinion. If you're a playoff team, and AJ Green's out a while,
yeah,
you got to take that into account. So you're a playoff team. AJ Green's going to miss some time. You just landed Julio and a great
I don't
contingency
care if AJ
plan.
Green's completely healthy and playing the best season of his career. I'm still taking that trade with Julio.
No, I don't
And
think
you got
it's-
Rivers.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad of a deal though, because you're saying Jimmy G as in Jimmy Garoppolo, not the other Jimmy G, Jimmy Graham we just
I
talked
kind
about.
of assumed Graham, but I bet you're right. It's Garoppolo.
I'm thinking what it is Jimmy Garoppolo, AJ Green for Phillip Rivers, Julio. I mean, he's the only
Jimmy
Jimmy
G so much in the last hour and a half that it just threw me way off.
Yeah, I don't think it's that lopsided. I mean, if you believe in the touchdown producer that AJ Green is when he's on the field,
But what's Deshaun Hamilton?
you can give away Jimmy G, and AJ Green to acquire Rivers for the stretch run and Julio. I don't think giving away. I don't want to give away Jimmy G necessarily long term for Phillip Rivers, but I understand it. Again, he said he's a playoff team, so go ahead and get the solid backup. Or if it's a 2 QB league, you're getting a starter.
I was going to say you're never going to play Jimmy Garoppolo if you have Pat Mahomes.
Right. Yeah, that's true too. So you might as well get away with it and pick up whoever ends up being your backup next year. But yeah,
Dude, I'd have thought-
you won. You won getting Rivers and Julio now for a stretch run playoff
Getting
team.
rid of an
Absolutely.
injured receiver, yeah.
I actually like Julio more than AJ.
Far and away. They're the same age,
Not
too.
far and away.
Really?
I don't know.
Julio's a
man.
perennial top 5 receiver. AJ Green's a top 10-ish
perennial
guy.
top 10.
At
I mean,
the risk of losing some of you.
yeah.
Julio is now he might, but either one of them might only play 2 or 3 more years. But
Super flex. It's a super flex leave.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Yeah,
then you
getting-
won for you definitely won.
You won for the
You
stretch
definitely
run
won because you got Phillip Rivers as your Superflex now. Heck yeah.
boom.
Harbaugh blowing us up.
Boom. That's beautiful then. That makes more sense to me now to give up Jimmy G and AJ Green. Good win getting Rivers and Julio.
Agreed.
Recap it.
Agreed. I love it. Okay, so the
Thanks
next
for clarifying that. Live clarification. I love that.
live clarification. Call in, someone. You'll be on the show and you'll be on the YouTube channel. We got League of Irrelevance message just on Twitter. Said, just traded Clement for a mid-third and a high fourth in Dynasty. Pretty uneventful trade, but I'm wondering if you think Clement will ever amount to much.
Take it away. Yeah, take it away, Bart.
Personally, I had high hopes for Corey Clement going into the season. Those didn't come to fruition. I don't see a third-year breakout in Corey Clement's future. I have to say, if I had Clement and was offered a mid-third and a high fourth, I'm going to take it. I just, you have to be quick to move on from some guys, or you're just going to get hit by the train.
Correct.
Yeah, this is the time. It was the time to move him a while back.
It was the
if
time
you
to
could
move
foresee
him a while
this.
back. And we didn't foresee it either. So I mean, it's just one of those things that didn't work out. You have to cut your losses and move on and grab that third and the fourth before you can get nothing for him. If that's the way it goes, and it looks like that's the way it's going to go. That was a beautiful catch, by the way.
Thanks.
But
Thank
yeah,
you.
give me the third and the fourth over Corey Clement all day long. Do you guys have any opinion on that?
I
differs?
agree 100%. I love Corey Clement. I wanted him to be good.
Do you still love him?
No, that's the problem. Now,
You ain't got no love.
3 of his
boy.
last 5 weeks playing, he's a double-digit guy. But the problem is, even with 16 carries, he musters 56 yards against the Colts.
So you're going yard per carry is the issue there?
He's not doing enough with what he gets. It's just get the 3rd and the 4th. Hopefully you didn't need Clement as any sort of a flex play because you shouldn't have been having him as a starter to begin with. So get the 3rd and the 4th and try to hit on that. I mean, because odds are you're going to be able to pick up a 3rd down back or, a receiver that's got potential, a tight end, something that's going to give you more production that might actually play for your team in the future than what Clement will for the next 2 or 3 years.
Here's what I'll say.
Before he's out of the league, by the way.
What'd you say? Uneventful as in it was a 3rd and a 4th. You're getting rid of Corey Clement for a 3rd and a 4th. That's what it was, right?
Yes.
Okay. The ship has sailed on selling him. To me, I know I just said that's not a bad trade. I actually think you hang on to Corey Clement for a 3rd and a 4th. Again, those are flyers. You might get a good defensive player if you're playing IDP that late. I would actually hang on to Corey Clement. The flashes of his production in the Super Bowl are still burning in the back of my mind. I understand the yards per carry this year has been dreadful, but understand this Philadelphia offense has not hit its stride yet. Now, has it not because it's Corey Clement and there's no threat running the ball? I don't know. Watching it just seems like they're all a little off. Carson's a little off. Alshon's been steady. Ertz has been steady. But it just seems like the offense as a whole has been off. Is that Corey Clement's problem?
Getting to you in a second, Harbaugh.
Not. I'll just end it on. I would hold on to him. I'm still a little bit of a Clement believer.
Clement's
based on
just
those
never going to
flashes.
be a feature guy is the biggest issue I have.
But I think.
But, I mean, what are you going to get for 3rd and 4th? And if you're playing IDP, which hopefully you're playing IDP because, we're big fans of that. That's
You
where
can hit on something.
you're going to hit on a linebacker, maybe a safety, something like that, or a tight end. You're going to find something there in that 3rd and 4th rounder I think is going to provide you more value on your team for the future than Corey Clement will for the next 2 or 3 years.
And the other, I'm kind of flip-flop. I am flip-flopping on this. I mean, you don't see running back struggle for 2 years.
Damn Mannings flip-flopping.
Yeah, I know. You don't see running back struggle for a couple years and then take off. They never really struggle. They just don't get playing time. Go back to like Arian Foster or something. Someone who didn't do anything for a couple years. It wasn't because he wasn't good.
He was on the
just
practice squad.
Yeah, he was on the practice squad, and he never had when he got his opportunity, is great. Corey Clement's had his opportunity. The ship sailed. But at the core of this is, to me, the 3rd and the 4th isn't enough.
It's not a lot of value. I'll give you that.
I mean, he could put up like Philip Lindsay numbers, something like that over the course of his career, be a solid 3rd down back. Hold on to him.
I would kill to have Corey Clement putting up Philip Lindsay
A
numbers.
lot of
That's
time
true.
for Clement. Okay, this is going to be a quick
Sorry.
one because this is a lot of players that Harbaugh just asked us about. So he's in this is a trade bait question.
Writing them down.
Who can he get rid of for some decent assets in the future in this dumpster fire league? He has Stafford, Ito Smith, Nick Chubb, Cooper Kupp, Rashard Higgins, Ian Thomas. Not sure why I'm mentioning Ian Thomas. Josh Gordon, Doug Baldwin, AJ Green. The wide receivers are sticking out to me. If you're really
Same
wanting
here.
to move some and get assets, I would have no qualms about moving Baldwin, Gordon, or AJ Green to acquire future assets. He's also got Smallwood. Don't think you can trade him for anything. Keenum, unless your name is Arms, you don't think you can trade him for anything.
I don't even like Keenum. I just like him better than Mariota.
You just made love to the guy live on the friggin' air.
Who was the other?
John Brown, I'd move him in a heartbeat to go acquire some kind of a future asset.
Yes.
Darius Geis, I'd think about it.
I would keep him.
I would think about moving Darius Geis if somebody was high and you could grab. He wants multiple. I think he's looking for multiple assets for the future, and that's a piece that could get you those multiple assets. Arms has been trying to trade the old Geis a little bit.
Not getting the love I expected for him.
No, not exactly. But yeah, the wide receivers, Harbaugh, Harbaugh's great at this stuff, so I'm sure he has an idea of who he wants to move. But for opinion's sake, Gordon, Baldwin, AJ Green are guys I'd be looking at to move for to acquire future assets.
I would keep Cooper Kupp.
I definitely keep Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp's
Was in
a
this?
stellar
Yeah, he was in
receiver. But I'm looking to pair like Gordon and Baldwin or Green and Baldwin to try to get, a premier player out of one of those guys.
That's what. Let me hold up. Okay, let me stop you there. Is he saying he wants to acquire like
A 2-for-1?
Yeah, is he trying to get better players? Yeah, 2-for-1, or is he trying to get assets
I think
as far as
building for the future? He really doesn't have a winning team in this league right at the moment, but he's got some assets he could move.
Sorry to cut you off. I was just trying to understand what the.
He also said, "Cup is my bay. He ain't leaving my side." I'm with you.
Agree 100% there. Jews, my bad. I'm not going to steal the show.
No.
You can go back to you.
My thing
bad.
is, Josh Gordon is, one failed drug test away from never playing football again. Doug Baldwin's got two bad knees. I mean, we don't know how much longer his career is going to last.
He's like 30. He's approaching 30.
Yeah,
quickly approached 30.
He's getting up there, and he's a smaller guy. So, the beating's going to wear on him a little bit more than most. A.J. Green's getting up there. Like I said, Baldwin, Gordon, Green, John Brown, I'm taking those 4 players, and I'm trying to double them up to get a good receiver out of each one of them. Each pair. However you can pair them. Now, what I'm not going to do is I'm not pairing Gordon and Green to get one receiver, because then you're looking at Baldwin and Brown and you're getting nothing of substantial value out of that. You look at, Gordon and Green are your A players, and
Baldwin and Brown are your Bs.
Yeah, and to me if I'm going to pair it, I'm going to go Green and Brown, and I'm going to do Gordon and Baldwin, and I'm going to try to upgrade from both of those guys, both those pairs.
But the other thing, was there another quarterback other than Stafford mentioned in that?
Keenum.
Okay, no. Man, I'm targeting a quarterback. Now, all of our draft strategies is wait on quarterback as late as you can. Man, with Cooper Kupp on there, maybe an idea is go out and try to target Jared Goff. Pair Goff and Kupp, stack them, baby.
AJ Green
it's
could
gonna
probably
cost
get that
you.
done.
Yeah, AJ Green and Stafford or something like that for Jared Goff. I don't know if the Jared Goff owner is in like the middle of a playoff run or something like that and doesn't want to downgrade to a Stafford even to acquire AJ Green. But I'm looking with this team, this roster makeup here, I gotta improve at quarterback. Maybe you take a flyer on Jimmy G or something like that. Like, I don't know that maybe Stafford Brown. I don't know if I'm the Jimmy G owner. I don't know if I get rid of it.
Do you contact the Baker Mayfield owner and say, well,
I don't know that Baker's ever going to be better than Stafford is my issue with that.
I'm thinking from a youth standpoint. Stafford's been in the league for quite a while.
Right, I'm with you there. But this roster makeup screams go upgrade at quarterback and then do the 2-for-1 on a wide receiver.
I mean, I'm trying to hang on to Chubb. I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to hang on Darius Geis as well.
I love him.
I mean, but pretty much all consensus, he was the number 2 or 3 running back coming out this year. A lot of people liked it was Saquon, and to me, watching what Darius Geis did in college in the SEC, he's the angriest runner I've seen in the past 10 years coming out of the SEC. He's not one of the Alabama products that are just lumbering. He hits people. He doesn't get hit. He reminds me, and high praise, and I know he's not this guy, but he's got this type of potential. He's got like a Herschel Walker type potential. He's fast.
Whoa.
He's strong.
Whoa, indeed.
He's fast. He's strong, and he's a 3-down back.
He's not that big though.
And look what Papaw Peterson's doing behind that Redskins offensive line.
Yeah.
You've got a solid quarterback with him. Darius Geis is going to have a fine career once he gets on the field and is healthy.
Yeah, and let's just call it what it is. Adrian Peterson was a stopgap for the torn ACL that Darius Geis suffered preseason. Man, I agree with you 100%. He's the angriest runner. Maybe not, but he has quickness too. I mean, he was their punt returner at LSU. So he has open field juke ability, but he'll also run you over. Like I love Darius Geis, especially if you have this roster makeup. If you have this roster makeup and you're building for the future with it, you got to keep him. You got to keep Chubb. You don't move him. Love that you're already keeping Kupp. Did I misspell Kupp? Kupp with a K. Jeez. But
a K-Cup.
K-Cup. No, dude, I like this team makeup, and I think you're absolutely correct on trying to upgrade at several positions.
I agree
with this team. Tight end, was there a tight end mentioned?
I think he was good at tight end. I want to say he had Kelsey.
Something else to take into consideration just a little bit.
Oh, God, no, you don't.
No tight end. To me, go get Kittle, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, go get Kittle. Trade Josh Gordon for Kittle.
Boom, that's exactly where I was going.
Man, to me, you're kind of on the 2-for-1 on wide receivers. Me, my strategy here is go get your quarterback, go Stafford and one of these receivers, hopefully John Brown, upgrade at quarterback, something like that, and then go get a Kittle, man.
Especially if the Kittle owner's like also the Ertz owner or a Kelsey owner, someone who's got, I've got this great guy and Kittle's never going to see the field.
Needing a wide receiver.
And that happens, maybe you can also scrounge a pick out of him.
I love tight ends.
I do too.
I feel like you have to win the tight end position more than wide receiver.
And there's only about 4 guys who's going to absolutely win that position for you.
Let's get to Harbaugh's other
Also,
trade.
maybe target Evan Ingram. Down season, he was really solid last year. If they get
John Brown for Evan Ingram might be, you can get that straight up.
that's fair.
Which side do we like more? Josh Gordon, a 2019 second and third, or David Njoku and Royce Freeman? Man, that is tough.
Say it again.
It is Josh Gordon, a second and third in the upcoming draft, or David Njoku and Royce Freeman.
Oh man, give me Josh Gordon, man. They went to Josh Gordon late in the game to seal the deal. They went to him on the fake screen to get the touchdown. What I meant about sealing the deal, they were under like 3 minutes against the Packers. I believe they threw on second down. They elected to throw on second down to pick up the first, and Tom Brady went to Josh Gordon on a quick slant. He's a monster over the middle. He's a monster with the ball in the hand. He's one suspension, one bad decision away from being suspended probably for life. But then again, you're only giving up Njoku and Royce Freeman. I'm not a big Royce Freeman fan. Plus, you get a second and third. I'd trade the second. No, I won't say that. I like getting Josh Gordon for those mid-level players at best.
I kind of do too.
As much as Royce Freeman is, possibly could take the game away from Philip Lindsay. Philip Lindsay could do the same thing back to him.
Yeah.
Right.
Either one of them could be relegated to, situational downs.
I love getting rid of that Royce Freeman.
Getting rid of that. I mean, a lot of it depends on your roster construction, because if you've got a god-awful tight end, Josh Gordon scares the crap out of me. I mean, we've seen we've seen him mess it up 2 or 3 times already.
In Cleveland.
Okay. In Cleveland. And Aaron Hernandez killed somebody whenever he was with New England, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, it's not like it's this completely unstoppable, everyone's a good guy all of a sudden whenever they go to New England.
It's better, though.
It is better. It is better. But, man, Tom Brady could be gone next year. And what's that do to Josh Gordon's value? I'm going to go with...
Josh Gordon was good with who throwing in the ball?
Like 9 different people.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm more than anything... Let me try the selfie mode here. More than anything, I like getting rid of Njoku, and I like getting rid of Royce Freeman. Plus, you get rid of those, at best, you get Josh Gordon for several productive years, if not, like 6. Plus, you get a second and third as a throw-in at this point. But if Josh Gordon goes, you can hit on them. I
like it better if it's an IDP league. I will tell you that one. I like the Gordon side better if it's IDP.
Njoku and Royce Freeman are just so unquestionably expendable. Like, I keep throwing the expendable. Those players I just do not want.
Njoku. I disagree on Njoku.
Take it away, sir.
I want Josh Gordon. But Njoku is still an asset in my opinion. That's all I got to say on that part. But give me Gordon all day long, even at the risk that he may get booted out of the league. But I do think Njoku's an asset. But I'm not gonna take Njoku over a wide receiver that is a safe start week in and week out from probably last week on. Njoku's good, but the tight end landscape, truth is, you can go out and grab Chris Herndon and get the same production currently.
Something similar. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
But not expendable. I mean, I wouldn't just toss him by the way.
He's going to be the starter there for a few years. I mean, he's a first-round draft pick, and they're obviously committed to giving him the ball. He's got 11 and 12 targets in consecutive games at one point this season.
Let's get on. Surprisingly, they have poured in over the last 20, 30 minutes through email, through DM.
It's going to be an early morning for me.
Yeah. So we're gonna bust these out. We've got Riff Raff Commish. You can check him out on Twitter. Good website. He emailed us a handful of trades. The Commish sends Julian Edelman And no, Mark sends the commish, Julian Edelman. The commish sends back Jordan Howard and Sammy Watkins. This is I think he said it's a keeper. I think it's a three-player keeper. And I don't want to keep any of those guys necessarily. That just depends.
Review it again.
Edelman for Jordan Howard and Sammy Watkins. I've got to know the record and the team makeup on this one. But if this is a keeper league, I'm probably going to go with Edelman because Jordan Howard's probably not going to be one of my 3 keepers, nor is Sammy Watkins. I can only assume you're fighting for a playoff spot, so I like Edelman in it. I give the Edelman side a C+.
I'm gonna just jump in, get the camera on me and off of me real quick. I like Edelman, man. If you're in a playoff push, we just talked about Josh Gordon and how Tom Brady sealed the deal with him. They had plays set up for him, but then again, Julian Edelman is the safety blanket there. Gronk has shown nothing. James White has been a pass catcher, obviously. Sonny Michel's coming back though this week, so to me, this offense is going to get better than what it is, just a hair. And Julian Edelman's going to stay a focal point, a safety blanket for Tom Brady nonstop through the rest of the year. I really like acquiring Edelman over Sammy Watkins. I actually expect Sammy Watkins to digress a little bit in that Kansas City offense. He's been good. He'll stay decent, but I like the upgrade of Edelman over Sammy Watkins. Jordan Howard just doesn't do it for me, as mentioned before.
If you don't have anyone else you're planning on keeping, maybe go with the Jordan Howard Watkins side, but Edelman, to me, out of the 3 of these guys, is the only potential keeper you've got. So give me
easy analysis.
Easy analysis. On to the next one. The Sausage King. Love that name. The Sausage King.
He won this trade.
He won this trade just because his name's the Sausage King. So the Sausage King trades T.J. Yeldon, A.J. Green, and Amari Cooper.
He just won. If
to,
you got rid of that.
He got rid of A.J. Green, Amari Cooper, T.J. Yeldon. He receives CMC Chester Rogers.
Ooh.
Weird one there. And Christian Kirk. So essentially CMC and Kirk for Yeldon, Green, and Cooper. Give me, that running back trumps everything. Give me CMC and Kirk all day long.
Absolutely.
I grade that side an A.
Absolutely.
Because there's nothing about Yeldon in a keeper league that I'm keeping. A.J. Green is a tradable asset right now, and Amari Cooper's not a keeper to me either. CMC is the one true keeper in that whole scenario, and Christian Kirk is a close third after A.J. Green. But
Christian Kirk
Kirk's
is close enough to Amari Cooper right now, and he might be better. He might be better because we don't know what Cooper is anymore,
man.
because he's had his moments with the Raiders his first couple of years, and then what's he done? Man, Cooper's he's a liability right now. If you're getting Kirk and CMC, you just won the trade. CMC is probably worth the other 3 players combined.
Okay.
And a lot of that comes from A.J. Green's age, by the way.
Oh, man, getting rid of TJ Yeldon, I don't believe that he's going to be much going out the door. But then again, you had to give away AJ and Cooper, and to me, Kirk is less than both of those guys, clearly. To me, clearly. I like Cooper more than Kirk. Dallas proved that they're going to try to get him the rock, and even though it's Dak Prescott, they're going to have to throw at some point. Cooper had that weird stat where he's like the 5th, but he creates the 5th most separation in the league.
I think he creates the most separation in the league.
Top 5
by
at worst.
2.5 yards. It's something stupid, but he still doesn't catch a damn ball.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually a very fair trade. It just depends on what you need on it. I love getting CMC. CMC, you're getting he's proven that he's more of a running back this year, as we kind of called out preseason. Plus, he's still getting you some PPR love. Just Kirk, man. I don't believe in Kirk in that Josh Rosen-led offense or whoever's at the helm there. Give me AJ and Cooper side. I'm sorry, but I got to go AJ and Cooper as much as I like to get rid of TJ Yeldon, man. Just not enough. It's basically, to me, it's AJ and Cooper for CMC. I'd rather have the 2 players starting on my team.
Okay, so the next one in this league, and man, there is a whole bunch. We can't get to them all. I apologize, man. So we've got Jordan Howard and Corey Davis and 35 future draft dollars for Jarvis Landry and Carlos Hyde.
Now, who was the first player with Corey
Jordan
Davis?
Howard, Corey Davis, and some football dollars for Jarvis Landry and Carlos Hyde. Man, that is a real. I'm calling even. I'm calling straight swap on this one,
Dude, make a decision.
If I had to make a decision, I'm just going to go for that future talent and Corey Davis as my keeper. I'm not keeping Carlos Hyde. Depending on my running back landscape, like Howard is possible, I guess, more possible than Hyde. Corey Davis by a friggin' hair.
I like Landry. I mean, Landry, with the more comfortable Baker Mayfield gets in the NFL,
Thank you.
the better Jarvis Landry ends up becoming, hopefully becoming what he's been before. This, to me, Landry's the premier player here, and that's the win. Whoever got the Jarvis Landry side won.
Here's what I'm going to say, man. Carlos Hyde, I'm telling you, Carlos Hyde's going to end up being the week in, week out starter during the playoff run of fantasy football.
Bold?
Yeah, it's a little bold. I mean, Leonard Fournette, we've talked about this episode, the previous episode, just he can't get right. And when it doesn't take a whole lot to throw him off.
And one little tweak, he's probably going to mail it in. Say, nope, I'm on IR.
Jordan Howard, you're not getting production out of anyway.
Agreed.
Plain and simple. You're just not getting production out of Jordan Howard. He's not a starting caliber running back in fantasy football. Jarvis Landry's a major upgrade against Corey Davis. Jarvis Landry's sitting at number 17 overall in PPR formats, and he's going to get better. Thank you for saying as he gets more comfortable with Baker Mayfield, he's going to get better. He's still gotten the targets.
Yeah.
You've gotten the targets. They
just got to build the chemistry.
I think they're going to convert more targets into catches. Again, getting rid of Hugh, I think it loosens the offense. Loosens the offense a little bit. I like getting Jarvis Landry. I think you upgrade it at both spots, plain and simple, by the end of the year. I love the way Carlos Hyde has been running.
And Carlos Hyde will be, even if it's not through this year, Carlos Hyde will be starting on a team next year.
Yeah, possibly. But regardless, Jordan Howard, you're not getting production out of Jordan Howard,
Correct.
so it's an easy give.
Carlos Hyde could go to Chicago right now and start.
Yeah, go get the stud in Jarvis Landry. And yes, he's still a stud. Got one more
year
for us?
removed from top 5?
Yeah. You got another for me?
Let's keep this going. This is
Uno
fun.
mas.
Okay, so we
can do a
have got LaShawn McCoy for Mohamed Sanu and some football dollars.
Mohamed Sanu and football dollars. You robbed him.
Man.
LaShawn McCoy is garbage.
I don't.
But listen,
far and away disagree
McCoy's
with you.
a rental for the rest of the year. He's not playing next year.
He's a very good backup option. He could have a high week if you badly need him. You know, I have him on my squad in my main league right now, purely from a backup standpoint. And I don't have great running backs in that 16-team league. I got Phillip Lindsay and Marlon Mack. I got the three-headed monster in Indy. But Shady's just kind of my if one of them gets hurt or Phillip Lindsay falls off the map, or he's my safety blanket. So more or less, I'd take the running back safety blanket over the wide receiver safety blanket. To be quite honest, go ahead. I like McCoy in this deal. Just running backs are harder to come by. I'd rather have the safety blanket of a running back than a Mohamed Sanu as what's he going to do for you? Not win you a league.
No, I agree with that.
I just don't think McCoy is either.
Here's we'll throw this one out there.
I wasn't saying that.
We got Aaron Rodgers and T.J. Yeldon and Golden Tate. So Aaron Rodgers, T.J. Yeldon, Golden Tate for Zeke Elliott.
Ooh. Aaron Rodgers.
Just straight up Zeke Elliott.
Say it one more time. I'm sorry. Aaron Rodgers,
T.J. Yeldon, Golden Tate for Zeke Elliott.
I think I want Rodgers and
Tate.
the Rodgers and Tate side. I mean, Zeke's a special running back. There's no doubt about it, but he's the only thing they have in Dallas. He's getting a ton of production. I mean, he's putting up a lot of yards, but unless you really, really desperately need a running back, Aaron Rodgers is still the best quarterback in the game. I mean, basically Zeke has to be a huge upgrade for you, and you have to have let's say a Kirk Cousins level quarterback on your bench for that trade to make sense.
Yeah. So the theme of the first trade bait or trade analysis show in a while has been get rid of TJ Yeldon at all costs. Like I firmly believe that. We'll stand by it. Might get burned in the end, but I'm gonna stand by it right now. TJ Yeldon totally expendable. Golden Tate, just don't know what's gonna go on there. I think they're gonna try to get him the ball, but then again, there's mouths to feed, plenty of them. He's gonna be buried in that. Give me Zeke, man. Give me Zeke. If you have a good backup option at quarterback, if you're in position to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, I'll take Zeke, even though he's been kind of down.
Once again, you've got to have that good quarterback on your bench for it to make sense for you to get rid of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it's totally dependent on roster
If your
makeup
backup is Dak Prescott or Case Keenum or Derek Carr or someone Eli Manning, no, don't do it.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, you got to look at the total volume here. I mean, I'd rather have the production that Rodgers and Tate most likely has over your backup quarterback and your number 3 wide receiver versus the difference between most likely what Zeke's going to put versus your top 2 running backs.
Yeah, Zeke's been kind of off here lately, but I fully expect to get him back on. You can make the argument on both ways based on roster makeup here.
Yeah, I got to go with Zeke. You don't have many opportunities to acquire a running back of his caliber. Quarterbacks, we've said it. Every fantasy show says that you can go and grab a good one in the middle of drafts. You don't necessarily need Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers isn't, I mean, he's no Patty Mahomes this year. I hate to say that, but Aaron Rodgers is not the end-all at quarterback anymore. And if you can get Ezekiel Elliott for Aaron Rodgers and a grab bag of running backs named TJ Yeldon and a little Golden Tate, like, give me Zeke all day long. It's as simple as that.
You got to be hurting a running back for me to think that makes sense and set it backup quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
I get it. Yeah, I'm with you there. We gonna call it?
Oh, give us a couple more. This is fun.
We don't really have much room for a couple more arms. It is fun.
I'm 5 hours away from waking up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's been fun. We'll just have to do it again.
Okay, whatever, dude.
He's so sad.
One more.
Look how sad he is. Really?
One more.
All right.
Take a second. Take a second and find a good one. How about that?
This is a good one because it's low-key players.
Do I need a pen?
It's players that we had high hopes for. One of them's somewhat delivered, and one just fell flat. Derrick Henry for Mike Williams.
Mike Williams
for me, too.
Derrick Henry may not be in the NFL next year. The guy averages like 1.5 yards a carry. He's garbage. Like, he's not. They don't trust Derrick Henry every time to get them 1 yard. Think about that. A single yard. The guy is 6'3", and they don't trust him to get 9 feet. Or 3 feet, excuse me, 3 yards and 9 feet. They don't trust him to get 3 feet. And he should be able to fall forward for that, and he doesn't. Derrick Henry's a terrible running back. Give me Mike Williams all day.
Mike Williams. I've never liked Derrick Henry, and I'm not about to start now. Mike Williams has third-year breakout potential.
We talked about that all offseason. Don't get caught up in Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
and people got caught up in the hype.
I don't understand both the non-fantasy love for Mike Williams or the Chargers non-love for getting this guy the ball more. Is it the last 2 weeks he has 2 receptions for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns, just over one reception, 55 yards and a touchdown, 1 reception, 30 yards and a touchdown. Like, when they throw him the ball, he seems to get in the end zone. It's crazy. Throw him the ball more. I mean, I realize Tyrell Williams is an okay receiver.
Throw him the ball.
He is not on the level of Mike Williams. Mike Williams is so much more talented than Tyrell. I expect that to transition into more targets as this year develops. Keenan Allen's still going to do his thing. I know I've talked about Tyreek Hill being the better receiver, just to bring his name back up in comparison to Keenan. Keenan's still a good receiver. I wasn't saying that earlier, but I don't understand why they don't throw Mike Williams the ball more. I expect him to be more of a red zone target. He's scoring for 30-plus yards out. I mean, the guy's a freak.
I mean, Williams 6'4", high points, as good as just about anybody in the league. It wouldn't surprise me if this time next year, Mike Williams is the number 1 receiver in San Diego.
Could be.
And they're talking about Keenan Allen being that number 2 guy, or possibly letting him go somewhere else.
Yeah, I was about to say he becomes a little bit expendable to the Chargers, not to fantasy owners.
Yeah.
Regardless where he goes, is going to be a good receiver fantasy wise. But the emergence, I believe in the emergence of Mike Williams. I really do.
I mean, he's got 5 touchdowns already this year.
On like 17 catches.
18.
18 catches?
18 catches.
Dang.
Let's wrap it, fellas. Some of us have to work. Some of us have to go sit and look like we're working. Apparently, if you're not tired, I'm sleepy.
I'm sleepy too, but this has been really fun. This
See?
has been the funnest episode I think we've ever had.
I know how to throw an episode together. Dear God.
All
right.
I wish all this stuff was in earlier.
Yeah, I know.
But hey.
Twitter folks, thanks for joining us. Thanks for giving us stuff to answer.
No doubt, I love it.
Everybody that sent in anything, we appreciate it. We'll do this again because there was too much to even go over.
Hey, DM us the trades you want us to analyze throughout the week, so they hold on there, and we can just write them down and feed them out to you.
Absolutely.
Jinx. Dang it. All right. Horrible way to end this show. See ya.
This
Peace.
concludes
Good night.
Another episode of the Back Row Fantasy Show. Thanks for listening, and be sure to give us a review.
I thought that episode was going to be like 30 minutes.
You can still talk if you want to.
It went way better than I thought it was going to with involvement. We appreciate it, guys. We really do.
We do. Thank you.
This concludes another episode of the Back Row Fantasy Show. Thanks for listening, and be sure to give us a review.